People are saying that JHope might be in trouble after he was recently spotted at a concert. We also have people protesting him now and the new SSEERAFIM song Spaghetti. And then we have JK and Calvin Klein being spoken about. So hey Dumplings, this is Dave Disci. Let's get into it. People are talking about JK and Calvin Klein recently, and it's very interesting. Recently, Calvin Klein posted a reel of just JK kind of showing his underwear without taking his pants off, and just overall showing a cute little video that came out that JK recorded a little while ago. When the video was posted onto the feed, people quickly noticed that literally all of the pictures, or several pictures and reels prior to this reel of JK being posted, you can see many people being shirtless in their underwear or overall in a more revealing type of clothing, because this is what Calvin Klein sells. But not only was this funny to the community because it seemed as if Calvin Klein was making this exception for JK because they typically don't post content with fully clothed people, it seems. Allegedly, people were noticing that the most viewed video by far, with other videos barely hitting not even 500,000 views, while JK and his video racked close to 10 million views, I believe, by now. Some people have mentioned that Calvin Klein had to have missed having their posts make a lot of noise, as in they only make noise when JK is posting, is what they're saying. JK is obviously iconic. He's done a lot for the brand, and he will continue to do a lot for this brand as well as any other brand that he works with. But to say that other people who get posted don't make any noise is simply not true, nor is it something that is kind to say. There are so many other celebrities that have joined Calvin Klein, and really iconic ones. People like Shawn Mendes or Justin Bieber have also drawn a lot of attention when they joined the brand. And you have to remember the amount of press and attention that even someone like Shawn Mendes got when he joined Calvin Klein, because at that point he hadn't really shown his body off at all, was a lot. Bad Bunny was obviously someone that was in the same position, as well as Justin Bieber, and of course even more recently, Jeremy Allen White was extremely well talked about. And you can praise another celebrity and a celebrity that you love without putting down other celebrities. The bottom line is, these celebrities are what built Calvin Klein to what they are now, to the point where they have a big enough platform where they can post someone like JK and be seen very widely. Because I'm not sure if people know, but for the most part, a viral video can more easily go viral on a page that has a platform to start with. If you're starting from zero, it's harder for that video to go viral. Not impossible, but definitely harder. So in order for JK to go viral, there had to have been a platform prior to that to be able to push it to go viral. And there was, because all of the celebrities and ambassadors that came before him, those celebrities and ambassadors also paved the way for Calvin Klein and marketing teams in general to realize that celebrities are going to be the driving factor in sales and promotion. I hate when people try to prop up another artist, especially try to prop up a K-pop artist by trying to either tear down other K-pop artists or try to tear down other celebrities outside of K-pop. And this is primarily one of the reasons why I think a lot of people who are outside of K-pop don't always enjoy being in K-pop, because they sometimes feel like the people who enjoy that art are acting really pretentious. It's a similar reason as to why a lot of people can't get into specific types of art paintings, because they don't want to deal with art snobs. And let's face it, there are some K-pop fans who act like K-pop snobs, and they think that K-pop is far better than anything else that exists in the world. While that can be your opinion, and of course you can feel that way, we all have art that we tend to think is better than everything else. You don't have a right to push it on someone else. You don't have a right to say it's better than someone else to someone's face when they believe something else is better. You just don't have a right to do any of those things. The majority of the community and a lot of people who join K-pop are very respectful, but the ones who aren't also happen to be the ones that are the loudest, which can tend to be very annoying. People were also freaking out recently when they noticed that JHope was spotted during a Blackpink concert. The members have all pretty much been somewhat invited individually to Blackpink concerts over the last several months, and so seeing more members there should not be shocking. But people are not exactly happy with this. A video online shows JHope being escorted through the concert, seemingly through the front row, and of course immediately everyone turned around and noticed. And this drew a lot of mixed reactions. People were not happy over the idea that he was supporting the girls, and of course there is this long feud between both groups, and fan wars that don't really exist outside of the fandom and doesn't exist between the members themselves. So I want to make that very clear, as we can obviously see here that JHope was at their concert. There's no feud here, right? Now, he was fully visible. He was not being hidden. He was not escorted through a back door. He was not covered up completely. People could see who it was, and people could tell that it was him. So typically this could be a way to draw attention to the concert. So when the celebrities appear anywhere there, sometimes, and when I say sometimes, I mean sometimes, their appearance draws publicity. Their appearance draws a trending hashtag. Their appearance draws news articles posting about them the next day. And guess what's attached to the news article? The actual place that he appeared, which would be the concert. So it brings the concert and the tour into the forefront. So if there are any seats that the girls haven't sold yet, they can get those sold because now the concert has been almost endorsed by another celebrity. And then if there are seats that are full, they can still drum up attention to potentially see if they want to add new shows. So in this case, do I personally believe that JHope was paid to be there? I don't know, and I can't really say that. But I do believe that an artist doing this has their own reason to doing this. It's not like them doing this is just solely to help the artist that's on tour. Because even if JHope might be attached to Blackpink and this concert tour name, his name is still being trended and at the forefront of the conversation. So for example, if he's just walking down the street, there is a less chance that people are going to be recording and talking about him unless it's a crowded street, or at least not to the scale that it would happen if he was in a stadium full of 20,000 people. So him showing up where people are recording, where people have their phones out, where the press is, these are going to be things that are going to help him get back into the news. And it's not like he would have a problem doing that, but of course, he still has to make appearances to keep that going. And it makes him appear more relevant and trendy because he's out and about always doing things. So it's all about perception. It's about keeping your name top of mind to people. And that's what the boys have been really good at doing lately. So I don't like that he's getting backlash because the community loves BTS. They hate the girls. But we should see it as it benefiting him as well. His name gets out there more. It's going to be all the more helpful when the boys have a comeback in the next few months. JHope also has a song that has released, which might be a great selling point to kind of push attention to. This was his song with SSEERAFIM, and it's called Spaghetti. He is a feature in this song, and this has garnered a lot of controversy. I don't even think it's because the BTS community dislikes those girls. I think it's because the BTS community often doesn't like that the boys are working with other female idols. The boys have been really pushing this concept, and I think it's because perhaps their new comeback might feature some women in there, and they don't want to get controversy at that point, allegedly. All of this is alleged, so maybe try to get it out of the way now. I don't know. That's just kind of a joke that I'm making and definitely not what's happening here, but I'm just putting it out there. But people don't like when the BTS boys engage with things that are controversial. And right now, the album and the single release of SSEERAFIM is under controversy. Specifically when they decided to release 20 different versions of their album. So they'll have different flavors of the album. They'll have the spaghetti version, they'll have a cheese version, and those will go on for like 20 different versions. Some of them, I believe, have additional songs or tracks that wouldn't be available in other versions. And then of course, there are things like photo books, merch, photo cards, and all the other stuff that normally different K-pop albums would have. There's many reasons to do this if you are unaware. And one of them is of course chart manipulation. If one person decides to buy all 20 variations, which I don't think most people will do, but if you were to do that, then instead of the album counting as one purchase on the charts, it then counts as 20. So you can imagine if 1 million people bought 20 variations, their album sales would just shoot up and it would be right at the top with 20 million. And that of course is record breaking, and that would be amazing. So typically the reason for doing different variations is this. And oftentimes in K-pop, they'll do things like contests where if you buy one album, you get a chance to win concert tickets or something like that. And then the more you buy, the higher chances are to get those concert tickets. I didn't read anything about that for this particular album release, but what I'm trying to say is that it's fairly common. And even groups like NCT, Super M, and EXO have released various different variations of albums all around the 20 number. So this is not unheard of. But of course, this is controversial. And because it's controversial, a lot of people are upset that any of the BTS members are going to be associated with that artist that is doing this controversial thing. However, this is a common practice, and no one's putting a gun to anyone's head saying that you have to buy all 20 copies of these albums. Of course, it's up to you whether you believe that you should buy into something after buying something already. So feeling the need to buy more variations because you feel like you're not fully in that world yet, and you have to buy more until you are, that of course is controversial, and a controversial idea to play on, which is something that the labels do like to play on sometimes. And then there's a concept within their own community where people are like, are you a real fan? If you're not a real fan unless you buy all 20. But I want to emphasize here that you definitely don't need to buy all 20 to be a big fan. And I would say 20 is good in some ways, as it allows each individual person who buys it to almost get a unique experience that might be different from someone else. because you might buy one of the 20 that's very different from your friend. So you might unbox a version that you got that would be, as I said, very different from your fellow K-pop friend. And then you can talk to them about what you've experienced and what you got and how your experience was so different, right? Or a little bit different. You would be able to write about something a little bit different onto forums compared to someone else. You'll have 20 different forums talking about each of the variations, right? So that's all good things. So that's my perspective on it kind of being okay. Like, I don't really have a huge problem with that. So stop canceling people, let people live. And I'm excited to see more from this album and hear more about it as well. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you check out Patreon. I'll leave a link at the top of the description. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.